everyone. Welcome to For Love and Money, the lesbian talk show podcast about selling the most sapphic fiction that you can. Today we're going to be talking about a subject that's very near and dear to my heart, the website Patreon. So Patreon is a website that allows creators to set up a profile with special rewards, such as free ebooks or autographed copies of their books, sneak peeks of their works in progress, anything you want. And in return, fans pledge a monthly amount that will support their creators. So those pledges can be anywhere from $1 a month to my highest tier is $25 a month, but I know other creators go all the way up to $50 a month or $100 a month. I personally make about $1,000 a month off of Patreon, and it's a considerable portion of my income. It's what allowed me to quit my day job as a musician and devote myself to writing full-time. So the reason I love Patreon is not just because I use it to make money, but because it allows me to give my fans an opportunity. Not only are they giving a gift to me, which I wholeheartedly appreciate, I love all my patrons, but it allows me to kind of give them an opportunity as well. We share the same belief system, my patrons and I. We believe that sapphic fiction is really important for lesbian, bi, queer, trans women, women of color, disabled women, women at all kinds of intersections of life. And Patreon allows donors to support creators who share their values. It allows them to be part of putting new work into the world that they believe in with their whole hearts. It's kind of like the name of this podcast, For Love and Money. It's a way for them to use money, only people who have money to give. I mean, it's a choice. No one should feel pressured to join Patreon, but it allows them to donate resources to things they believe in, to stories that share their values, to stories that have happy endings, to stories that speak to the lesbian and queer communities, to stories that let people like themselves be heroes for a change, because you don't get to see that a lot in mainstream media. So now that we've talked a little bit about what Patreon is and why it's important, it's time to talk about the 5 steps that I used to get my Patreon up and running and to grow it to the point where it is today. The first thing you need to do is come up with some rewards. I already mentioned some of mine: free ebooks, autographed copies, sneak peeks into my writing folder, question and answer videos that I release about once a month. There are also articles I write every month about the craft of writing for anyone who supports me who wants to write their own work, that kind of stuff. There's a monthly poll that allows people to kind of direct where my focus is. All my work is released for free on AO3 if it's fan fiction, but my patrons kind of have a say in what pairing I write, and they get to submit ideas. I might not necessarily write those ideas, but they get to suggest what they want to see, and I certainly take that into consideration when I'm picking a new project. So what you have to do is pick some rewards, some stuff that'll really make your patrons feel special, like they're getting something cool, like they get a sneak peek into your creative process. And then you match those rewards up with a dollar amount. I highly, highly recommend that you make a good reward for the $1 tier, because lots of patrons really like the $1 tier. Some other popular numbers are 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, that kind of thing. So your more valuable rewards should obviously be paired with your higher pledges. And it gives people a range of options. I suggest having more variety of rewards rather than less, but make sure that it's rewards you can provide on a regular basis. Because if you promise rewards but then only are able to do them once every, blue moon or so, then it's not as effective. And I've had to learn this through trial and error. I'm personally trying to post more and more on my Patreon. The more you post, the more effective Patreon's going to be for you. So once you've come up with some rewards and matched them to a dollar amount, and inputted it into your profile on the Patreon site, the next step is to make a pledge video. You can use your phone, you can use your computer, whatever video capturing software you have, but making a video is really important, and do not skip this step. Even if you aren't necessarily at your best on camera, it's so important to make yourself seem like a person, to make yourself seem a little vulnerable, to make yourself seem real to these people who will click on your profile. And the first thing they're going to see is your pledge video. Patreon has done studies on this. Creators who have a video describing what they're all about are way more likely to get signups to their Patreon than creators who don't have a video. So absolutely, please use a video. And use this video to discuss why your work is meaningful to you. Think about branding. Think about what you believe in, what values you have. For me, it's intersectionality is very important. I believe that the lesbian community and the queer community is not just white and cisgender. I believe that there should be happy endings for lots of sapphic women because we don't get to see that a lot in mainstream media. I believe in giving all kinds of women opportunities to be heroes. So those are some big points that I hit in my video. And it allows my patrons to feel like they're contributing to media that they want to see. They're kind of putting their money and resources into something that they love. So it's very beneficial to both the creator and the donors. The next step after you make your video is to share it on social media. And personally, this was the hardest step for me. I struggle with depression and anxiety, and I have a negative internal monologue going basically all the time that I have to deal with. And it was saying stuff like, who are you to ask for money? People are going to be annoyed seeing this on their Twitter feeds and their Tumblr dashes. People are going to think you're a greedy beggar. They're going to hate you. And I had to get over that and really think deeply about what I could offer to people and why they would want to support me. It really helped solidify my branding, actually, and made me a better writer and a better promoter of my work. So the truth is, people aren't going to be annoyed with you. People are either going to ignore it or they're going to say, hey, I really like this writer. I really like this storyteller. I love her work. I want to support it so that more people can find out who she is, so she can write more for me, write more for everybody. And it's an opportunity that you're giving them. So don't be afraid to post on social media. Post on Facebook, post on Twitter, post on Tumblr, post on your website, post everywhere. Link to your Patreon in all your profiles. And you should do this not just when you open your profile, but when you have a new post to share. Whenever you make a new post, whether it's a video, a link to a document, a PDF file, a Word file, you can upload basically anything to your Patreon profile. And you can then share that post with the world. And every time you post something new, you should be sharing it. This is actually something I have not been very good at, and I'm trying to improve at because I get a good response. And if you share your posts, not only will you get the word out to people who are not signed up for your Patreon, but you will let your patrons know when there's something new and make them feel like they're getting something for their money. That being said, lots of patrons donate just because they like you and want to support your work and they believe in it. And they don't care about the rewards. So don't feel too much pressure, but share. And that kind of leads into number 4. Step number 4 is post regularly. You need to make sure your rewards are balanced. You need to make sure that you are offering cool stuff, but that it's cool stuff you can deliver in a timely manner without wearing yourself out. At first, I was kind of promising too much, and I just couldn't keep up with the deadlines, and I frustrated myself and a couple of my patrons. And you have to make sure that you can give what you promise to give. And it'll take a little learning, it'll take some experimentation to find the right balance, but eventually you will. Eventually you will come up with a series of rewards, and they will be rewards that you can deliver in a timely manner without exhausting yourself. And whenever you post those things, and it should be a lot of stuff you're posting, a lot of little things is better than one big thing. You will get the hang of it very quickly, but don't burn out. Because I've seen lots of Patreon users kind of fail because they posted a whole bunch of cool stuff in month 1 and maybe month 2, and then they kind of stopped updating, and eventually they shut their Patreons down because they couldn't keep up with it and they stressed themselves out. So make sure you can deliver what you promised to deliver. It's really important. And step 5 is equally important. It's to develop a continuous relationship with your patrons. And the way I like to do this is with the messaging feature. The messaging feature allows you to talk to your patrons one-on-one, or it allows you to send mass messages out to them via email. And it's really great because you can announce when you're doing new stuff. You can thank them for their support individually. You can make them feel like you're appreciative, which you should be, of all the support that they're giving you. And I personally, every few months, I like to check in with a poll about what rewards do you like? What rewards would you like to see from me? What rewards are not really doing it for you? And that allows them to kind of shape what you give them, and it ends up with a more satisfying experience for both of you. So let's just go over the steps really quick. Just to recap, because it's a lot to deal with. Step 1 is to come up with rewards and match them with a monthly dollar amount and input them into the site. Step 2, make a pledge video. Do not skip this step because it's really important to show your face and to show the love in your voice and to put yourself out there. Speaking of putting yourself out there, step 3, share on social media regularly. Every time you have something new to post, put it on Twitter, put it on Tumblr, put it on Facebook. Get the word out. It'll make your patrons feel special, and it'll get people wondering, what is Patreon? And they'll click and they'll see your video and want to help you. Step 4, post regularly. Don't promise more than you can deliver. A lot of little things, and occasionally a big thing, but mostly a lot of little things. And step 5 is develop a continuous relationship. Ask your patrons what they want. Try to give them what they want. But also, be kind to yourself, and remember that a lot of them are supporting you just because they like you and they love your work. And that's enough. And you're giving them something in return besides the rewards. You're giving them an opportunity to support the work they believe in. So this is my short podcast on Patreon. You can always leave questions for me in the comments. You can go to the Lesbian Talk Show Facebook group and you can ask questions there as well. I really like to see what you have to say in the Facebook group. And guess what? The Lesbian Talk Show has a Patreon as well that you should go check out, and it's very well set up. And it has extra little bits that you won't find on the main website. Stuff that's exclusively for patrons, and I guarantee, even if you only donate $1 or $3 a month, you won't even miss it. And you're gonna get so much cool stuff in return. So you should definitely check out the Lesbian Talk Show's Patreon, as well as their Facebook group, and see what it's all about. Check it out as a model for your own. And I'm gonna obviously link to my own Patreon as well, so you can look at that as a model too. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast, for spending some time with me today on For Love and Money. And you absolutely should check out these 2 Patreons. Consider setting up your own Patreon. Don't be discouraged if it takes you a couple months to build up, because it's going to start with small amounts like $100, $200, even like $50. That's okay. That little bit of money is going to help you. And as long as you keep providing rewards and sharing cool stuff, then people are going to come. And people are going to appreciate you. And it's going to grow your career in really rewarding ways if you keep at it. And it has for me. Patreon has, it's no exaggeration to say that Patreon has changed my life completely. So I wish you luck. I'd be happy to answer any more questions you have about Patreon. Setting up your profile is pretty intuitive, but I'm here to help. And I'll see you next week. Thanks so much for tuning in to For Love and Money.